This is That Guy Jig Sports Podcast. I am him, JIG. Subscribe, rate, or review Amazon, Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. Check us out. And don't forget about the Instagram at That Guy Jig. NBA Finals are here, folks. Boston Celtics, Dallas Mavericks. No matter how you spin it, no matter how you roll it up and smoke it, I think this is the best finals matchup that we could have gotten. I know the Boston Celtics played no one. I know they played a hurt Miami Heat team, they played a hurt Cleveland Cavaliers team, and they played a hurt Indiana Pacers team. That's not their fault. That's not their fault. I'm sure if you asked them that they would have loved to play the Knicks, they would have loved to play the Orlando Magic or the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm sure if you asked the Boston Celtics that they believe they would have been here no matter who they played. And honestly, all throughout the regular season, that's what they've shown us. They've shown us that even though if you don't agree with how they play, with how many threes they shoot, with how Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown cooperate this team, even if you don't agree, what you cannot argue is that there wasn't a big step in between the Boston Celtics and the number 2, 3, 4, 5, etc., team in the Eastern. They were clearly ahead. They were clearly better. The continuity that they had as a team was clearly better. The chemistry was better. The way they approached the game of basketball was better. And ultimately, like Tyrese Halliburton says, the healthier team gets there, they were more healthy. And that's why they're here. So the Boston Celtics did it. They're back in the NBA Finals. The last time we saw this team in the NBA Finals, a couple things were different. They were younger, and they also had Malcolm Brogdon and Marcus Smart on this team. Now they've replaced those two players with Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis. So this team is clearly better than the first time they went to the finals. They lost to the Golden State Warriors. That was Steph Curry's prove-it ring. He got it. It's understood. Steph Curry is the man. Fast forward, now we're back. They haven't been back to the NBA Finals since then, but now they're back. Now they're back, and this is a totally different team. Totally different Jason Tatum, totally different Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown is the Eastern Conference MVP. He is the most valuable player in the Eastern Conference, according to his last series. And the last time he was in the playoffs, he averaged 23, 7, and 3. 6 games. Not bad. But he's going to have to do better. We're going to have to see the MVP Eastern Conference player. We're going to have to see Mr. Mega Supermax. We have to see that in order for them to beat the Dallas Mavericks. Jason Tatum, now he's the one that I think has something to prove of the two in the NBA Finals. Last time Jason Tatum was here, he averaged 21, 7, and 6. He did fill up the stats. But he had 2 games where he had 12 points. 1 game he had 13. 2 games under 15 points. It's not going to get done in the NBA Finals. Unfortunately, it's just not. Other than that, other than those 2 games, he balled out. You know, he had 1 high turnover game with 6. But other than that, Jason Tatum balled out. Overall, it's just the point production. It's just the overall, when you are the face of the franchise, averaging 21, 7, and 6 is cool if you win a championship. If you're not winning a championship, that's just not enough. And that's what it is. It wasn't enough then. It's not enough now. So today, in today's NBA Finals, Jason Tatum has to be better. And he will be. Andrew Wiggins did a phenomenal job of guarding him. Phenomenal job. Andrew Wiggins, that's the reason why Golden State hung on to him. What he did on the two-way in versus Boston was just nothing short of phenomenal. So look at Jason Tatum to be great in this series. To truly be great. Now on the other side, those are the 2 superstars right there. Now on the other side, when we look at the Dallas Mavericks, we got Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. The last time Kyrie Irving was in the NBA Finals, he averages 27 points through 13 games in the NBA Finals. Kyrie Irving shows up in the big game. Excuse me. Kyrie Irving shows up in the big game. And that he does. The last time he was in the NBA Finals, he came back and made history for a 3-1. This NBA Finals is personal for him. He played for Boston. That Boston and the Brooklyn Nets saga for him was just a terrible part of his career. When you really look at Kyrie Irving, you look at Kyrie Irving when he was in Cleveland, and then you look at Boston and Brooklyn Kyrie. These are two totally different people. And then you throw in the Dallas Kyrie. Now we're talking about three totally different individuals, with the Boston Brooklyn Kyrie being the worst of them all. That was his villain stage. That's when he did, I think, the most growing. I think that's when Kyrie really looked at himself in the mirror and said, you know what? I'm better than this. I'm better than what they're painting me as. And now I have to flourish. Now I have to grow. And that's what he did. I mean, just look at it. I mean, we are so far removed from Stephen A. asking for his retirement. I mean, we're so far removed from saying that he needs LeBron. At this point, this is Kyrie Irving's, this is his Steph Curry championship without Durant. This is his LeBron championship without D Wade. This is his Kobe Bryant championship without Shaq. This is the championship that really puts him by himself. This is a championship that you look at Kyrie Irving now and you say, you can't look at him no more as a sidekick. We can no longer look at him as Robin. He's Batman. He's Superman. He's Iron Man. He's Thor. He's the main character, is my point, folks. He might be a role player on Team USA, aka the Avengers. But when we're talking about his movie, he is a main character. And him and Luka have done nothing but flourish, and they are one step away, 4 wins away from proving that they are the best backcourt in NBA history. We know what Luka's going to do. Luka's already busted the Boston Celtics ass for game a couple times. Now, I mentioned earlier with the acquisition of Drew Holiday out, Drew Holiday in, Marcus Smart out. Now, obviously, defensively, let's not make no bones about it. Marcus Smart is all NBA defense. So Marcus Smart would have been a great matchup. He's bigger than Drew Holiday, more weight, more girth, and he still has that lateral quick. I don't think there's much athleticism difference between Drew Holiday and Marcus Smart. I think it's pretty similar. But offensively, Drew Holiday is a better offensive player than Marcus Smart. So now we're going to add in the fact that not only does he have the ability to guard Kyrie, not saying he has the ability to shut him down because no one can do that, but he has the ability to guard him and stay in front of him and move his feet. So now that he has that ability and Kyrie has to respect him offensively, this is good. This is good if you're Boston because now you make Kyrie work on both ends of the floor. I don't think Kyrie Irving will be guarding Drew Holiday. That's going to be like a Josh Green. That's going to be his job. Kyrie will probably guard somebody else. Probably somebody else. Probably Derek White. Not going to do as much offensively. More of a spot-up shooter. 1-2 dribble, pull up, maybe a little float game. But overall, Boston has their hands filled with trying to get, guard Kyrie. This is a very personal thing for Kyrie. This is his as much importance as it is for Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown to get their championship together to solidify the reason to open up the checkbook to pay 2 guys almost $1 billion in the NBA. To solidify that, you have to win a championship this year. You have to be able to bring home a chip and then say, yes, it was worth it because we won one. We've been to 2, we won 1. We've been to the Eastern Conference Finals a few years. So now we have a championship to boot and to bring it home. And as importantly, Kyrie Irving is trying to get his first championship as a main character, as the main character. Meanwhile, Luka is also trying to get his first championship. Luka's trying to make it 2 straight years Europeans have won an NBA championship. If I had to put $100,000 on the line right now, no questions asked, I would take the Mavericks in this series. I believe that Luka and Kyrie can score more consistently and score more in the clutch than Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. I think Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown eventually, like I've been saying all year, they're going to hoist up threes. They're going to shoot their fair amount of threes. But I just don't think there's anybody on Boston. They can throw it at them. They can throw it at the different people at Luka. There's no one on Boston that can stop Luka. There's people on Dallas that can make it life a little bit uncomfortable for Jaylen Brown. And I'm not saying Jason Tatum, but this is his finals to lose. But this series comes down to Kristaps Porzingis and PJ Washington. It comes down to Kristaps Porzingis and PJ Washington. If PJ Washington can be the same PJ that was playing against the OKC Thunder, Boston's in trouble. Boston's in trouble. If Kristaps Porzingis is not healthy, Boston's in trouble. Because I say that not because Dallas just has somebody down low that's just beast in the sheets and is going to just drop dick. No. But these two Dallas big men, they rim run. They rim run very well. If they can average 25 points combined in this series, Boston's going to be in trouble because Boston's not very deep on the front line. Outside of Kristaps Porzingis and Al Horford, it gets very bare back there. And honestly, these two big men are not the big men. I mean, these aren't the two big men you want to have people out for. You need people that are able to jump high and go up because, like I said, Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively rim run. And that's why Luke is able to do what he does passing the ball. That's why these three-pointers are so open for their shooters is because you have to respect the rim run. You have to. So for me, it's not as much for me as it is Kristaps Porzingis scoring 15 and blocking all these shots. No, it's just being a presence. Because you need that front line depth. If you don't have that front line depth, look for Derek Lively, look for Daniel Gafford to average 25 points combined, 30 points combined, and 15, 17 rebounds. They're going to eat the middle up. Luka Doncic is going to get downhill. He's going to get Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown in foul trouble. And then the closer himself is going to come through. Listen, PJ Washington in 14 career games versus the Boston Celtics averages 14 points and 5 rebounds per game. If PJ Washington can give you his average, which he's done very consistently against Boston, even in a Dallas Mavericks jersey, the last time he played the Boston Celtics, he had 17 points. If PJ Washington is going to give you this type of scoring versus the Celtics are going to be in trouble. PJ Washington's lowest scoring game in his last 10. 17, 15, 17, 17, 14, 16, 17, 16, 2, 19, 22, 3, 15, 4. Those are his career stats versus the Celtics in points. The Celtics have trouble with him because he's a stretch four. So if Jason Tatum switches off on him and he's on a smaller guy, PJ Washington has the fundamentals enough to go and get you a layup. This, like I said earlier in the story, this is going to be a very, very good, evenly matched series. I got this series going 7 games. I think it can truly go 7 games. I truly believe that nobody is going to sweep at home. It's going to go 1-1 in Boston, 1-1 in Dallas, and then 1-1-1 all the way back to TD Garden for a Game 7. Then that's when things get interesting. Will Boston be healthy by then? Can Kristaps Porzingis stay healthy? Listen, it's in Boston's best interest to win this series fast, quick, and painless. 4 games, 5 games. If it starts to teetering on 6, if it's teetering on 7, if you're playing a grueling series, if they're grinding these games out and making people play high minutes, it's going to get interesting. Because, like I said, PJ Washington, Kristaps Porzingis, this series depends on those 2 players. Also depends on which team's role players are going to step up. As usual, what role players are going to be better than role players? Derek White's been playing exceptional. I've mentioned PJ Washington. How about another guy from Dallas, Josh Green, Tim Hardaway Jr.? What's up, bud? We haven't seen you all playoffs. This would be an excellent time for you to average 12 points off the bench. This would be an excellent time for a role player to no longer be a role player. This is where people like Bruce Brown get paid. Bruce Brown, Denver Nuggets, got a championship, came off the bench. Now he made $80 million to go play for the, at least $80 million, I believe, to go play for the Pacers. That's what can happen for a role player if you come out and you max perform. Because I'm here to tell you, we know what the superstars are going to do. We know what Jason Tatum's going to do. We know what Jaylen Brown, Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic, blah, 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 blah. We know what they are going to do. We know what opportunities that they are going to have. But this series and these series have always come down to the other guys. Ray Allen hits that 3. LeBron James gets the championship. The other guys. Rondo. Kendrick Perkins. Back in the day with Boston, the other guys. So, Andre Iguodala. Sean Livingston. I can keep Robert Ory, Rick Fox. I can keep going, folks. But my point is the other guys are usually the difference in the NBA championships. Yes, Tyrese Halliburton. I understand it comes down to health, but it also comes down to which other guys can step up. Who's going to step up and be great? So when it comes down to these NBA finals, I'm going Dallas Mavericks. I've been going against Boston all year, and it's not going to change now that they're in the finals. I'm not one of those guys. I will go down with my ship until my ship is at the bottom of the Atlantic. I'm going down with the ship. I'm not getting on a door and floating on a raft. I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. I got the Dallas Mavericks. I like Kyrie Irving for Finals MVP. Listen to me, man. If there's anybody I'm cheering for, it's Kyrie Irving, because the world wrote this man off, and this man did nothing but change over. He went into a cocoon, and he blossomed into a beautiful butterfly, and we are watching this man fly. And you know what? I hope Kyrie Irving gets what I hope he gets a championship, and I hope he gets Finals MVP. I like the overs. Let's talk turkey. Let's talk some money here, folks. Let's talk some ROI. Return of investment. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about some money. Because FanDuel Sportsbooks is out here putting out some lines. And we are and we're trying to catch some fish here, folks. They got the over-unders at 214.5 right now. I would take the overs on this. Dallas has also been losing game ones very often in these playoffs and traditionally. So look for Boston to come out a little excited and probably a little bit flat. Boston hasn't played basketball in a couple weeks now. Actually, now that you really think about it, Boston's going to be they're going to be their first game action in a minute. So look for Dallas. 6.5 points. That's 7 points. 3 possessions. That's all right. That's an all right number. Look for Dallas. Look for stuff on Dallas. And when we're talking points, P.J. Washington, 15 points. You just heard me talking to him. He's plus 210 right now. So you can get P.J. Washington for 15 points. That's about what he averages versus the Celtics. I think he's at 13.9 or 14.9, one of those. Derek White plus 50. Derek White is plus 100 for 15 points. Like I said, the other guys are going to ball. So look for it. It's going to be interesting to see how many minutes the Kristaps Porzingis even plays. Like I said, the Celtics themselves haven't played in a few. And Kristaps Porzingis hasn't played in a minute. So it's going to be very interesting to see the minutes that he does get. Because, I would be very surprised if he came out with no limitations. I would be very surprised if he came out just, free and willy, ready to go. Rebounding out here. Luka Doncic is plus 100 for 10. He's going to be in the game. He's going to play. Daniel Gafford's, he's over at 6 right now. So there's some lines out there, folks. I like that Daniel Gafford over 6 rebounds. I think that would be a good one. I like that one. And you know what I also like? If you would subscribe, rate, and review. This is That Guy Jig Sports Podcast. I am him, JIG. I appreciate you for listening. Tell a friend to tell a friend. That way we can all be friends. I will be posting sports betting props for the finals on the Instagram. That Guy Jig on Instagram. Make sure you follow, subscribe, rate, and review. I appreciate you for listening. And once again, I am him, JIG. Peace.